Welcome back to Today we will learn about the issue of Sarah's shaken heart, Philip's manipulations, and whether Xander's battered trust can survive one more round of Salem-style betrayals and second chances during the week of September 15th to 19th. Core storyline. Sarah is set to witness a softer, father-first side of Xander at Victoria's birthday party, while Philip doubles down on a calculated lie that Xander didn't attack him, all of which pushes Sarah toward an emotional apology and a possible reunion plea, leaving the final decision in Xander's hands. Victoria's birthday pivot. At Victoria Kiriaki's celebration, the atmosphere turns from cake and candles to character revelations, as Sarah spots Xander in full family mode and reconsiders the image of a hothead she's been holding onto. This event functions as a narrative hinge. The party isn't just a milestone for Victoria, it's the moment that reframes Xander as a steady, attentive dad whose tenderness complicates Sarah's certainty about walking away. Philip's strategic falsehood. Philip leans into a knowing untruth, insisting again to Sarah that Xander wasn't the one who beat him, weaponizing ambiguity to soften Sarah's stance and to grease the skids for an accidental rapprochement between his brother and Sarah. The twist is that Philip's reassurance is not factual, yet it's deliberately deployed to nudge Sarah into looking at Xander's recent actions rather than his worst impulses, letting doubt do the matchmaking. Sarah's apology arc. Midweek, Sarah moves from suspicion to contrition, explicitly asking Xander for forgiveness and entertaining the possibility of a romantic restart. Her apology isn't a full absolution of Xander's past, but it signals a shift from categorical judgment to conditional trust. She begins to weigh who Xander is with Victoria against who he has been at his lowest. Xander's trust dilemma. Xander's central conflict is less about anger than about trust erosion. Sarah's prior betrayal left a bruise that reason alone cannot heal, even as her changed tone tugs at his resolve. The suspense sits in whether Xander's protective instincts, for Victoria and for his own emotional stability, will hold him back, or whether Sarah's renewed feelings pry open the door to reconciliation. The party's emotional machinery. The birthday setup piles on small, disarming details. A doting dad, shared gifts, and family presence that amplify the contrast between rumor and lived behavior. In Salem, public celebrations often double as moral mirrors, and this one reflects Xander not as a headline of rage, but as a man moderated by responsibility and love, precisely the image Sarah needs to consider a reset. Philip's motive. Meddler or matchmaker? Philip's lie has layers. Yes, it is protective of his détente with Xander, but it's also a calculated attempt to steer outcomes without owning them. By keeping the "who attacked me" question muddy, he positions himself as the catalyst who can reduce collateral damage while maintaining plausible deniability. A classic Salem power move cloaked as brotherly peacemaking. Sarah's shifting calculus. Sarah's mental math changes from Xander equals danger to Xander under structure equals stability, especially when anchored by Victoria's needs. Her forgiveness plea is driven less by nostalgia and more by observation. She sees that Xander's behavior around his daughter is consistent, nurturing, and perhaps incompatible with the monster narrative she's been holding onto. Xander's guardrails. Even with Sarah's apology, Xander's boundaries are stiffened by recent hurt. He may accept contrition without immediately restoring intimacy, choosing phased trust over instant amnesia. The question becomes whether Sarah is prepared for a slower rebuild. Transparency, shared parenting protocols, perhaps counseling, or whether the old pattern of quick closeness and quicker explosions will reassert itself. Outside pressures and timing. The week's broader chaos, pressers, clashes, and rival agendas, creates noise that could either derail or catalyze Zara's reset. Salem's turbulence traditionally compresses choices. Moments of clarity arrive under pressure, and the birthday party's warmth may be the lone quiet pocket where both can hear what they actually want. Signals of a possible reunion. Key tells include Sarah voicing remorse without deflection, Xander prioritizing co-parenting language over point scoring, and both agreeing on concrete steps to protect Victoria's stability. If those beats land, A reunion becomes not just sentimental but structurally plausible, grounded in routines, accountability, and a softened stance about past injuries. A wild card named Felicity. Recent speculation suggests Felicity, who's been unexpectedly effective as a gentle matchmaker elsewhere, could nudge Sarah and Xander back into alignment through pragmatic advice and empathy. While not central to the birthday events, her presence in the tapestry underscores a theme of younger voices reframing adult conflicts with surprising clarity and care. Philip's risk exposure. Philip's benevolent lie carries its own fuse. If the truth reemerges, Sarah's trust could swing against him, and Xander's patience with familial interference may evaporate. In a town where secrets are currency, even a lie told for love compounds interest, and the bill always arrives at an inconvenient hour. What Xander needs to hear. For Xander, the decisive factor is not a grand declaration but reliable signals. An acknowledgement of the betrayal's impact, a shared plan for anger management and boundaries, and consistent follow-through that prioritizes Victoria. Acceptance of the apology becomes likely if the apology is paired with structure, not just sentiment. What Sarah needs to accept. Sarah must reconcile the truth that forgiveness does not guarantee immediate closeness, and that rebuilding requires tolerating ambiguity without reverting to catastrophic assumptions. If she can live with measured progress, her fresh view of Xander's fatherhood can be the anchor that steadies the ship through inevitable squalls. The week's bottom line. Expect a high-emotion birthday that doubles as a character recalibration, a manipulative lie that paradoxically opens the door to honesty, and a heartfelt apology that tests whether Xander's boundaries are made of granite or healing scar tissue. Whether the answer is yes, no, or not yet, Salem's favorite triangle turns the page with eyes wide open. Next, on September 15, 2025, begins with Xander simmering in frustration. The co-CEO documents that were supposed to secure his power at Titan are still nowhere to be found. For a man like Xander, who thrives on control and order, this oversight feels like betrayal. Yet, despite his irritation, he puts on a mask of forced calm and marches forward, because nothing, certainly not paperwork, will stop him from attending little Victoria's birthday party. Standing alongside him is Philip, his uneasy ally, who silently calculates every move as though he's preparing for a corporate chess match rather than a family celebration. The irony is thick. Both men arrive at the Kiriakis' mansion with polished smiles, wrapped gifts, and carefully chosen words, but underneath, their hearts are weighed down by mistrust and suspicion. As Xander once said in another context, family is complicated. Today proves that statement truer than ever. Sarah's uneasy heart. Inside the mansion, Sarah Horton struggles with an inner conflict she can't quite silence. As she confides in Maggie, her motherly figure and emotional anchor, Sarah admits that Xander's presence makes her nervous. Their shared past is a tangled history of love, betrayal, and broken trust. Now, as they stand together again under Victor Kiriakis' roof, she cannot shake the feeling that danger lurks beneath Xander's charm. Her nerves are interrupted by the grand entrance. Xander bursts in, arms overloaded with neatly wrapped presents, his grin wide enough to light the entire room. But before Sarah can process his presence, Philip steps in right behind him. The sight of both men standing together in the middle of balloons, ribbons, and birthday cake candles creates a surreal moment, one that feels less like a family party and more like the start of a boardroom showdown disguised as festivity. A strange party, a strange alliance. Though Victoria is the center of attention, the guest list feels oddly thin. Apart from Sarah, Maggie, Xander, and Philip, no one else is present. Is this truly a birthday party, or merely a staged performance for appearance's sake? The absence of friends, cousins, and Salem's usual crowd leaves an uncomfortable silence hanging between bursts of laughter. Xander seizes the moment to make an announcement that shocks everyone. Philip will soon become his co-CEO at Titan. His words are wrapped in a veneer of generosity and family unity, but Sarah hears the steel beneath. To her, this isn't about love or kinship. It's about power consolidation, about keeping enemies close enough to control them. Philip, however, plays along, his expression unreadable, his posture confident but tense. The ghost of Victor's legacy. In a brief but emotional interlude, Xander asks Maggie how she's holding up with the anniversary of Victor's death approaching. The name of the Kyriakis patriarch casts a long shadow over the room. Victor's absence is still palpable, his legacy hovering like a ghost that dictates the actions of those left behind. For Maggie, the grief is softened by family moments like this one, but for men like Xander and Philip, Victor's death only means a void of power waiting to be filled. Touched by Xander's question, Maggie reassures him that she is fine, though her eyes betray lingering sadness. With delicate grace, she helps Xander take Victoria upstairs for her nap, allowing Sarah and Philip a rare moment alone. Sarah confronts Philip. As soon as the baby monitor clicks on and the sound of a child's laughter fades into quiet upstairs, Sarah pivots to Philip with the intensity of a storm. She wastes no time circling around the issue. For weeks, she has suspected that Philip knows more about Xander's recent actions than he admits. Now, with the co-CEO partnership sealing their public alliance, she sees a slim chance to corner Philip. She challenges him directly. Once Xander and Philip share equal power at Titan, there will no longer be leverage for Xander to manipulate him. In other words, Philip could finally break free and reveal the truth about who really attacked him. Her voice trembles slightly, but her determination sharpens every syllable. Sarah is no longer speaking as a woman torn between lovers, but as a mother, a protector, and a truth seeker. Philip's calculated silence. But Philip is not a man easily cornered. His response is a carefully crafted refusal, wrapped in politeness but unyielding in substance. He insists he has nothing more to reveal. Whether out of fear, loyalty, or a deeper scheme of his own, he chooses silence. His denial frustrates Sarah, who senses the truth slipping further away even as she inches closer to uncovering it. Philip's behavior suggests layers of strategy. Is he protecting himself? Is he protecting Sarah from a truth too dangerous to reveal? Or is he quietly plotting a bigger move against Xander that requires secrecy now? These unanswered questions hang in the air, adding a layer of suspense that transforms a simple conversation into a high-stakes interrogation. The unwelcome eavesdropper. What Sarah doesn't realize is that their conversation is not private. As she presses Philip, Xander descends the staircase, his footsteps silent against the thick carpet, his ears sharpened to every word. He pauses just beyond sight, absorbing the exchange with a mixture of suspicion and fury. This overhearing moment could shift the balance of everything. For Xander, hearing Sarah question Philip isn't merely a personal slight. It's a direct threat to his credibility, his family role, and his fragile alliance with Philip. The man who prides himself on loyalty and strength now feels the sting of betrayal creeping into his own home. A gathering that ends in shadows. What began as a birthday party intended to celebrate innocence ends with layers of mistrust and tension deeper than before. Victoria's laughter and balloons can't mask the storm clouds forming over the Kyriakis mansion. Maggie clings to her hope for family unity. Sarah steels herself for the possibility that the truth may never come from Philip, and Xander, overhearing what was never meant for his ears, prepares for his next move. The episode closes with more questions than answers. Will Philip eventually confess what he knows? Will Sarah's determination to protect her family put her at odds with both men? And will Xander, pushed to the brink, retaliate in ways Salem has seen too many times before?